More than 60,000 tickets have already been sold for the FA Youth Cup Final at Old Trafford against Nottingham Forest on Wednesday night. The last time that Manchester United reached an FA Youth Cup Final was all the way back in 2011, and we ran out 6-3 winners on aggregate against Harry Maguire's Sheffield United after a 2-2 draw at Bramall Lane, followed by a 4-1 victory at Old Trafford. But where are the class of 11 now? From the players who went on to become world stars to the players that you might never have heard of, in this video I'm going to take a look at where all of them have gone in their careers since. In between the sticks then was Sam Johnson, now a full England international and playing in the Championship with West Brom. Now Johnson obviously never made an appearance for Manchester United's senior team and was loaned out to several clubs during his time at Manchester United, and two very impressive loan spells at Aston Villa in the Championship led him to catch the eye of West Brom, who actually bought him from United for £6.5 million. So probably a success, I would say, for that. And that was in 2018. Now 28 years of age, he actually has got 3 caps for England. In defence, United's backline was made up of Fornacia, McGinty, Tom Thorpe and Michael Keane. Starting with the left-back, Fornacia. He's now 28 years old, plays in Serie C for Monopoly. I'm not making that up. You go around the boards and check yourself. Fornacia never made an appearance for United's senior team or even in the Premier League, but he does have 32 Serie A appearances to his name. At centre-back was Sean McGinty, and McGinty, now 28 as well, captain of Scottish side Ayr United after moving to the club last summer from Morton. McGinty joined United from Charlton in 2009 following United's FA Cup when he did go on loan to Morecambe, to Oxford, Carlisle and Tranmere Rovers. McGinty's another one that never made a senior appearance for United's first team, but he had a total of 14 clubs and 8 loan moves throughout his career, but he has made 296 appearances. Tom Thorpe was the other centre-half, and at the time Tom Thorpe was probably one that a lot of us had our eye on as being a real potential star for Manchester United. He was the captain of this team, he was the leader of this team, and he was one of the ones, let's be honest, Pogba and Lingard were also very, very highly rated in this team. But Tom Thorpe, he was like Premier League player, absolute Premier League player, Rolls Royce of a defender. But it didn't work out for him. Now at 29 years of age, he is without a club. The last club he played for was ATKFC over in India. I think he went over there the same time Wes Brown and Rennie Mullen's team were over there, different clubs. Pal Rauchubka as well was over there. And it's been a bit of a sad career with Tom, considering the prospect that he was. He did feature for Rotherham and Bradford and Bolton, and he made one appearance against West Ham in 2015, actually replaced Angel Di Maria, but he was released from the club at the end of that season, and his career never really got to take off. He's one that got away, I think. He's one that I think United fans will be a little bit disappointed with. At right back and finishing off the defence, probably the most memorable name for everybody in the defence, and that's Michael Keane. Local lad, he's from Stockport, signed for United's academy as a scholar, age 16, alongside his brother Will. He signed professional contracts on his 18th birthday, and he made his United debut in the League Cup in 2011 as a substitute against Aldershot, and his first start actually came against Newcastle in the League Cup the following year. Keane won the Denzel Haroun Reserve Player of the Year award in 2012, and he was a clear winner with 60% of the votes. He beat Jesse Lingard and Lionel Cole, 24 and 16% respectively. He made one Premier League appearance for United in Van Gaal's second game in 2014 before he left and went to Burnley. And then he joined the current side Everton in 2017 for an initial fee of £25 million with the potential to rise to £30 million. Obviously, he's currently fighting to avoid relegation. I think they're going to get away with it in Frank Lampard's side. He's not had a great season this season, but he has managed to pick up 12 caps for England in his career. So I would say that's another positive from United's academy. United's midfield for me, though, was where this team was gold. And you'll be surprised at who was Player of the Year in this midfield. Ravel Morrison, Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Ryan Tunnicliffe. Let's start with Ravel Morrison, and perhaps the most memorable part of this entire 2011 Cup run was that game at Anfield, was Ravel Morrison's performance at Anfield, was Ravel Morrison taunting the cop at Anfield. He was a pivotal player in the Youth Cup run this season. He scored a brace in the second leg at Old Trafford. If you looked at the results that season and didn't watch the games, it was Pogba Morrison. You'd think there was a strike partnership. They just scored goals. He was one of the highest rated players coming out of the side, and we all know he failed to live up to the hype. He made all 3 of the Manchester United appearances that he actually got in the League Cup before he was sold at the end of the 2011-12 seasons to West Ham for an undisclosed fee. He's played for 13 different clubs across his career, having been loaned out to 6. He's now 29 years of age, and somehow, and Wayne Rooney needs all the praise in the world for what he's done at Derby anyway, but turning Ravel Morrison into a consistent performer that turns up week in, week out and comes to training week in, week out is absolutely sensational. This was a player that was lost to the game. So many managers have taken a chance on him and failed, and you're talking really good, experienced managers as well. Wayne Rooney, rookie manager, whatever it was, worked, got his arm around him and got him to turn up and put a shift in and actually be a really good performer for Derby. So credit to both of those guys. He's definitely found his feet at Derby. He's managed to get 36 appearances. He's got 5 goals, 4 assists in that. I don't think he's ever reached the heights that we all hoped he could do. In fact, he definitely hasn't done. But Rooney had this to say. I remember watching Ravel Morrison thinking he had everything required for a player in his position. He was brilliant. He was confident. He nutmegged Nemanja Vidic 3 times in the space of a minute in one training game, but he struggled with the lifestyle and the environment, which was sad for him. I saw Paul Pogba come through, Jesse Lingard, all these players, and Ravel was better than any one of them by a country mile. Now you're talking praise like that, and you're talking World Cup winners, and you're talking FA Cup final goal scorers. But Joey won Player of the Year this year? Ryan Tunnicliffe. Ryan's now 29. He plays in League One for Portsmouth. They finished 10th in League One this season. Following the FA Youth Cup final win, he did go out on loan to Peterborough, and he also went to Barnsley and to Ipswich. Former coach Rennie Mullenstein took Tunnicliffe to Fulham in 2014, but he failed to make an impression, going on loan to Wigan, to Blackburn, over the next 3 seasons before he signed for Millwall and Luton, and now his current club in Portsmouth. Tunnicliffe actually made 2 senior appearances for United. Both of those were in the League Cup. But he was the under-18s Player of the Year this year. He was out of all of the talent that was in this team, Ryan Tunnicliffe was Player of the Year. And it wasn't for any mad reason. He was the best player. He was absolutely sensational. No surprise he's gone on and had a career. And having a career outside of the Premier League is still a career in football. And he still actually managed to play for Manchester United. I think he's dad actually won a bet with one of those appearances as well. And of course, his midfield partner, can I say still at the club? Because he's not been here the entire time, has he? Paul Pogba. 227 senior appearances for Manchester United. Paul Pogba may never put on a Manchester United shirt again, but out of all the players in the 2011 Youth Cup final team, I think it's without doubt Paul Pogba has had the most success in his... I mean, it's not even a competition, is it? World record transfer fee, World Cup winner, FIFA Pro 11. He's done the lot. And whatever happens with his Manchester United story, he is another success of Manchester United's academy. And his story's been an adventurous one since coming to the academy and leaving the academy in 2012 for Juventus on a free to returning 4 years later for a world record free. Absolutely madness, obviously. Surpassed Gareth Bale's world record fee at the time. During his time at United, he's won the League Cup, he's won the Europa League. He also won the 2018 World Cup with France during his time at United. If you had to talk about whether he was a success or not for the academy, of course he's a success. You can have your thoughts, and I have my own thoughts on whether or not it was a successful world record transfer, and I think it's safe to say no. And the way it's going to end is sad, but he did win a Youth Cup at Manchester United, and he is part of our history for that. On the right wing was Jesse Lingard. Set to leave Manchester United this summer, Jesse Lingard has gone on and made 232 appearances for the club. He's been out on loan to Leicester, to Birmingham, to Brighton, to Derby, before the age of 22 when he managed to force his way into Louis van Gaal's first team. He has won 4 trophies at United, including FA Cup, a League Cup, Community Shield and the Europa League. He'll also be remembered for scoring that winner in the 2016 FA Cup final. However, in 2019, he lost his place as a regular for both United and England, and he went out on loan to West Ham in 2021, where he actually became like the most informed player in the Premier League and then probably made a really ill-informed decision to come back to United rather than leave when his stock was at its highest and continue his career elsewhere. Now, he might have had broken promises from the club since, but I think it's safe to say that was a mistake to come back to United after that sensational 6 months that he had at West Ham. As for where he goes now, no idea. Up front then, Will Keane. Will Keane could have done anything in the game except stay injury-free. The whole reason that you even know about Marcus Rashford is because Will Keane was injured. Otherwise, it probably would have been Will Keane that got that nod. He was injured. Rooney was injured. I think Ibra might have been injured. Tony Marshall went down in the warm-up. Marcus Rashford, come on down. He played a massive part in United's FA Youth Cup win. He scored once in the first leg and he got a brace in the second. He stayed at United slightly longer than his twin brother Michael did, but he left as Jose Mourinho era started. He joined Hull City in the Championship on his first permanent move following 4 different loan spells from United in 2016. He then turned a loan move at Ipswich into a permanent move in 2020 before leaving for Wigan Athletic. Impressively, he's managed to get 26 goals and 6 assists in 44 league appearances this season, becoming champions of League One and gaining promotion back to the Championship. So it looks like in his deep 20s, he's actually finally managed to sort of achieve some of the potential that he had. Will Keane could have done anything in the game. He was absolutely sensational. But we've seen so many youngsters before him, after him, and we're still yet to see some as well that are going to fall fate to injuries. Injuries are real, and injuries really change the course of people's career. If everything was equal, Axel Tuanzebe as a Manchester United first-team player, he had the ability, he had the mentality, he had that fantastic season on loan at Aston Villa, but the guy can't stay injury-free. Everything else, I mean, he is a future Manchester United and England captain if I ever saw one, but his career has completely stalled. The last 2-3 years might as well not have existed for him because he's just been injured. And that happens to some excellent players, and Will Keane was one of those. His strike partner on the night then was Giuliano Van Velzen. Everyone's going, who? One of the less memorable names from the class of 11 was Van Velzen. He moved to Antwerp from United in the 2013 campaign, never made a senior appearance for us, and he worked under former Dutch international Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He was allowed to leave United at the end of that season. He moved to Utrecht before he played another couple of years before he moved to Volendam and Roda in the Dutch second tier. He returned to England in 2019 with Crawley, but after a loan spell at Aldershot, he moved back to his homeland with Telstar and he scored 7 goals in 48 appearances. On the bench that night were some players that have gone and had relatively differing careers. Lionel Cole would go on and make a senior appearance for United a few months after the Cup final. He came on as a substitute in the League Cup final for Makeda when we beat Leeds United at Ellen Road. And he joined Fulham in January 2014, but he only made 1 league appearance. He's now a free agent and he's played for Radcliffe Borough in the Northern Premier League. He actually even played in the league Paddock are playing in at the moment. The season before last, he played for Whalley Range. I'm not sure if he followed them into the Cheshire League or not, but that shows some of the standard of football that is happening in grassroots and non-league when you've got players that, you know, I think he might have come on for, did he come on for Pogba in a final? He came on either way. So, you know, you had Lionel Cole, who was a hell of a player. He was another one that I thought there could be a Premier League player in there, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out for him. Tyler Blackett, another one that was a bit of a familiar face in the Louis van Gaal era. Tyler made 12 appearances for United. All of them came in the 14-15 season, playing as a centre-half in Louis van Gaal's 3-5-2 formation, which looking back at, you know, how often Blackett played or Donald Love played, some of the players that he managed to get a tune out of was absolutely mental. However, he did have 3 underwhelming loan moves to Blackpool, to Birmingham and to Celtic, and then he moved on to play under former United defender Jaap Stam at Reading, where he reached the Championship playoff final in 2017. He followed Jaap Stam to FC Cincinnati last summer, where he continues to play. And I actually saw Tyler walked past him over Christmas. I guess he was back here for Christmas. Walked past him and then I dropped him a message on Instagram. I was like, I'll just walk past you in the middle of town. Turns out I did. So he's enjoying his football out there at the moment, and I'd love to see him come back to England. I don't know if he can play in the Premier League, but I definitely think he could have a bit in the Championship. John Coffey. Now, here's another one that definitely should have made it and didn't, and supposedly this was down to attitude and work rate and stuff like that. At 14, United supposedly paid £1 million to Burnley. And earlier that month, Liverpool had a 250 grand bid rejected, which led to Coffey refusing to attend any future academy sessions. So maybe the writing was on the wall a little bit then at 14 when you're like, nah, not coming in. And maybe that's why it didn't work for him. He failed to make a senior appearance. I mean, he was good. He was good. But he failed to make a senior appearance at United, and he went on to become the quintessential journeyman. He was loaned out 3 times to Antwerp, Sheffield United, Notts County before he signed for Barnsley on a free transfer in 2013. He got released from Barnsley, and then, without making an appearance, he went and played with at Mulder. He then went on to make 1 appearance for Crawley, 3 for Wrexham, 17 for Telford, 10 for Southport, 2 for Bradford Park Avenue, 2 for Charlie before joining Derry City, Hume City and Philippines side Global. Following his retirement in 2020, he is now pursuing a coaching career. Could have been everything there, couldn't he? And we even got a bonus player in the final. Played for Sheffield United, was none other than 18-year-old Harry Maguire. Went on to make 166 appearances for Sheffield United before signing for Hull City for £2.5 million in 2014. He did 3 years playing for Hull before he signed for Leicester in 2017 for £12 million, which had the potential to move up to £17 million. And he did all right at Leicester, and no one knows what happened to him since. This happens in every single youth team. You have the players that shine playing in a particular age group, and you have the players that somehow pop into the first team and surprise you with how many appearances that they've gone and made. Brandon Williams forced himself into the first team recently after being a good player at under 18s and the captain. Obviously, he had a lot of fight and attitude about him in a good sense, but he was never someone that you was earmarking for, he's definitely going to make it at Manchester United first team. So much of getting from this point now, being a good academy player, and anyone that gets to the Youth Cup final is definitely good. But the transition now from being a good academy player to being a first team player and then a first team regular, there's so much chance. There's so much. Is the player in your position out of form? Is he injured? Is there an opportunity for you in the first team? Does the manager want to trust and play youngsters? The likes of Garnacho, Menu, Alvarez, McNeil, Hugo. There's opportunities for all of these lads. When it comes, they have to grab it with both hands. Garnacho's the one that seems to be making the waves at the moment, and for good reason. The kid's absolutely magic, and I think he could go on and have a serious game in football. But he has to stay injury-free, and he has to make good decisions. And sometimes you think maybe going out on loan is the right move. I think Ashley Fletcher might have been a year or two behind this team. Ashley Fletcher chose to go out on loan when the opportunity came, and he missed on being in the spot Marcus Rashford was in when he made his debut. These sliding door moments happen constantly. Slightly different from being youth players, but if you look at the careers of Rafael da Silva and Fabio da Silva, Fabio, unfortunately, being a left-back, had a bulletproof Paddy Evra in front of him and never got a sniff. His brother made over 100 appearances for United because he had an ageing Gary Neville in front of him. And supposedly Fabio was the better player. It's all about how much game time you can get between being 18 and 21. If you're still playing under 23s football at 21, I got some bad news for you. You need to get out there and get yourself some first-team football. But right now, it's all about the next 24 hours for these lads. The class of 2022 can literally write itself into history tomorrow night at Old Trafford. And I think they've got a very, very good chance of doing it. What goes on from here, though, as you've seen with these lads, can vary massively from being a World Cup winner to playing the Lancashire and Cheshire League against Paddock. Where's it going to go for this lot? We will find out.